Hey guys, welcome to my Full Moon Friday series where I talk about some of the full moon features from my personal collection. Now, if you aren't familiar with Full Moon Entertainment, it is a long-running production company known for releasing cult horror movies like the Puppet Master series and other direct-to-video cult classics. They were popular among B-horror fans in the 80s and 90s, and Full Moon still operates to this day and still has a cult following, although I would say the quality of movies has declined. If you are already a Full Moon fan, this might be a fun blast from the past for you. If you're unfamiliar, these videos will kind of help you get started with some recommendations. And the first movie we'll be talking about is Witchouse. Witchouse was released in 1999, directed by David DeCoteau, who got his start by working for Roger Corman in the early 80s. Before working for Charles Band in the mid-80s. To say the least, he has produced and directed boatloads of pure schlock. And the movie stars Matt Raftery, Monica Snow, and Brooke Mueller. So, as an attempt to add to the H.P. Lovecraft mythos, Witchouse takes place in the mythical town of Dunwich, Massachusetts, and I really kind of like that. The story centers around Elizabeth, who claims to be a descendant of a once powerful witch named Lilith, who met her fate as she was burned at the stake about 300 years ago. Elizabeth hand selects specific acquaintances to come to her house for a party. Little do they know that they were brought there so that Lilith could be resurrected. And a different script was originally written for the movie, but it wasn't used because Full Moon wanted something more similar to the Italian movie Demons. Fortunately for writer Benjamin Carr, his original script was used in a 2001 movie called Stitches. Haven't seen it, but I might check it out. So what you'll notice right from the beginning of Witchouse, other than the spelling of the title, which is is I don't like it, but the acting here is not going to be the movie's strong point. At least with the previously mentioned lurking fear, the movie was still somewhat held together by the competent acting. In Witchouse, the acting is very amateur with bland, uninteresting characters, and the weak script really does this movie no favors either. Ashley McKinney-Taylor's performance as Elizabeth is probably the strongest here, but that's not saying a lot at all. The set pieces are generic and predictable, but kind of fun. Very typical, gothic mansion full of spooky occult books with cobwebs everywhere. Same kind of mansion that Dracula or the Addams Family would live in. The character of Lilith looks like a character from Star Trek, The Next Generation or something like that when the show was, at its laziest point. And, there really isn't a whole lot else to say about this movie. It turns out that the people were all invited to the mansion because, they were the descendants of witch hunters, and Lilith wanted to even the score with the people that killed her. There's only one, half-decent kill in this movie, which was a decapitation, nothing you haven't seen before. The R rating was likely due to language, which is fucking lame. And I'm going to give Witchouse a 2.5 out of 10. The flashback scenes were kind of cool, but sparsely used. Pretty much everything else about the movie sucks, and I'd only recommend this to fans of disposable, schlocky horror. So, I don't know. What do you guys think? Any Witchouse fans out there? I know there are sequels, which I heard are actually slightly better. What motivation do I have to check them out at this point? That said, if I found them out in the wild, I'll probably buy them because I'm kind of an idiot. And the next one we'll be doing, the same DVD you've seen before, because it's got 3 movies on it, but Demonic Toys. So Demonic Toys was released in 1992. It was directed by Peter Manoogian, who had worked with Charles Band on movies like The Dungeon Master from 1984 and Seed People also in 1992. So here we have 2 undercover police setting up a gang of dangerous arms dealers. Things go wrong, of course, and blood is spilled in a children's toy warehouse where a demon has been waiting 66 years for a specific person to be used as a new host. First off, Demonic Toys is a lot of fun. It's low-budget B-movie schlock, but works pretty well all things considered. The acting is pretty much what you would expect, and you've seen much worse. Most of the movie takes place inside the warehouse. The toys are mean and sadistic, but there aren't too many characters here for a large body count or anything like that, but it is violent and bloody regardless. My main criticism is that I do like tiny terror, I like to call them, or killer toy type movies, but I'm a fan of the Puppet Master franchise, which, in my opinion, kind of overshadows the Demonic Toys trilogy in kind of just about every way. So I'm going to go ahead and give Demonic Toys a 5 out of 10. It's a fun enough movie that is worth a watch, but I can't really find anything here that would, make me consider it above average. I'd recommend it to all fans of Full Moon and Tiny Terror, killer toy type movies. General horror fans, I'd say give it a watch, but there are just so many more movies that are worth your time. And then we've got Dollman versus Demonic Toys. Dollman versus Demonic Toys came out in 1993, just a year after the first Demonic Toys movie and 2 years after the first Dollman movie. So here we have Officer Gray returning to the toy warehouse, the one that she was in the first time around, unable to move past what happened to her there. Of course, nobody believes her, and she is suspended from the police force. She then seeks out Brick Bardo for his help in fighting the toys. Brick Bardo, Dollman himself, played by the mighty Tim Thomerson, who I'm always ranting about because I love him. So this movie is not great, but I kind of like it. Anything with Tim Thomerson to me is instantly watchable. Basically said it all a million times before. I mean, there's kind of a bit more variety here, maybe a little bit more going on than there was in Demonic Toys, but I'd say Demonic Toys is a better movie than this. And there really isn't a whole lot to say about it. It's a fun 60-minute movie. 60 minutes? What happened, Charles? So Officer Gray dies halfway through, probably because they couldn't afford Tracy Scroggins for the whole thing, is my guess. This movie is also insanely sloppy. There's characters that are seemingly just forgotten about 3/4 of the way through the movie, leaving you wonder where the hell they went. The last act is incredibly weak, lazily written and played out. Again, Tim Thomerson saves the day here, and I'm going to go ahead and give this a 5 out of 10. The first half I found a lot of stupid fun, but the last act was a really weak mess. I'd recommend it only to full moon diehards who just haven't seen it before. This was the last time we ever saw Dollman, which is a huge bummer. Dollman should have been an ongoing series. I guess I'll just have to track down the comic books now. Next, we have Demonic Toys 2. So Demonic Toys 2 came out in 2010, and it was directed by William Butler, who had his big break directing some Power Rangers episodes in the early 2000s. Upon browsing through his work, it looks like he's done some really cool stuff that I just wasn't at all aware of, like a Baby Oopsie series. Baby Oopsie is, this doll right here. Didn't know about that. And some other cool-looking movies like The Resonator, Beyond the Resonator, and Curse of the Reanimator. I didn't love Demonic Toys 2 by any means, but I'll be happy to check out his other works. So this is kind of strange. Apparently David S. Goyer, that David S. Goyer worked on some of the characters here, uncredited. Wonder what's up with that. Well, I think we all know probably what happened and why he's uncredited. So here you have some random different types of people meeting up in an old Italian castle to buy and sell rare and valuable toys. Chaos ensues. That's it, really. I mean, not a whole lot to talk about here, just like all the others that I've talked about so far. So, I mean, this movie starts off really cool with, shows someone hand stitching the dolls back together. I think it was Baby Oopsie, since they basically get blown apart in every fucking movie. It just looked super cool, but it was literally downhill from there. The plot was boring. Characters were forgettable, of course. The kills were weak as fuck. I really got nothing else to say about this. I want to love the Demonic Toys series, but they make it so fucking hard. It's so inferior to Puppet Master, in my opinion. And Puppet Master has its share of flops as well. I'm going to go ahead and give this a 3 out of 10. And I really can't recommend it at all unless you're just a full moon maniac and you haven't seen it before for some reason. And last one for today, we got Puppet Master versus Demonic Toys. So this came out straight to video back in 2004. It was directed by Ted Nicolau, who's pretty much a Full Moon and Empire Pictures veteran at this point. starting in 1984 with the Dungeon Master, and is possibly, I'd say probably, definitely best known for the Subspecies series. By the way, is anyone else stoked for the upcoming Subspecies movie? Comes out this year. I for one am super stoked for that. And I should probably mention that fucking Corey Feldman was the lead actor here, because I guess what else did Corey Feldman have to do in 2004? Charles Band probably paid him with Burger King coupons, you know, the same ones that they've been making since like 2002 that never ever expire. Anyways, here we have Robert Toulon, played by Feldman, who is the great nephew of the original puppet master himself, Andre Toulon, fighting back against an evil group of toy makers who wish to steal his serum to animate killer toys to wreak havoc on humanity come Christmas Eve, for some reason. So obviously the build-up here is also we can see our favorite puppets fighting the demonic toys for the third act. And then the question would be, does it actually pay off? And well, I'd say no, not really. The fight is much too brief and much too uneventful. The movie itself does try to be something, but it comes off more silly than anything. This could have easily been a Goosebumps episode. And also, I know I made fun of Corey Feldman, but he actually does okay here. It seems like he actually kind of wanted to be there, and it seems like he actually kind of enjoyed himself. So I would give what should have been a huge epic one for the books a 4 out of 10. Again, I'd only recommend this to its target demographic. It's a movie that is only a fraction of what it could have been, and I can't really see too many people getting much out of this. Anyway, guys, thanks for watching. What do you think? Are you a fan of any of these movies? I know I kind of just shit on all of them, but you know, I'm doing these in no order. I will get to some of the full moon movies soon that I actually do like, and we'll get there when we get there. I'll probably have another one ready in 2 weeks. 2 Fridays from today. As always, thanks for stopping by. Let's talk about some of these movies. We'll talk soon, hopefully, yeah? Fucking cheers.